Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood. You are watching The Political Vigilante. I am here with Suzie Dawson. We were just talking about Panquake, .com, and which you can go there and sign up and everything. And if you're watching, please hit the like button, subscribe, and whatever platform you're doing. There's a lot of great ways to support what we're doing here. And I wanted to talk to you because obviously we met because you were doing these Julian Assange live streams. You're a big advocate for freedom of speech and Julian Assange specifically, and WikiLeaks, which is one of the reasons you've started Panquake, is because you've seen how big tech and has been working hand in glove with the intelligence community. It's data collection, it's control, and all these other things. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about these. Well, it's revelations for people that aren't paying attention. You and I, we all knew the CIA has been trying to kill Julian Assange. It's not like news for us, but to see like the mainstream media go, oh, shocking revelation. That actually, I was like, wow, I didn't realize they were actually going to talk about this. There's even talk. It sounds like maybe even Congress is going to have hearings on was the CIA doing this, because the CIA is basically a rogue organization, and they have been since its inception after World War II. And they can do whatever they want. They get whatever budget. Their budget isn't even on the books. When we talk about the bloated American war budget, the CIA's budget isn't even on that. Like, they get to do whatever they want. So I really wanted to, talk with you about how you see this, the corporate media putting out that the CIA tried to wanted to kill him, and that there might be a hearing. How do you see all this playing out with you have years of experience of tracking the intelligence community. You did your 1 versus 5 Eyes campaign. You are watching what is happening and is continuing to happen to Julian Assange very closely. How do you like, what is this? How did this happen? Like, what's going on? Like, whenever there's something like kind of seems like it's good news with regards, I'm always like, what's the trick here? Are they, I don't trust these people at all. So how do you see all this playing out right now?
So I think there's a lot of political positioning going on. I think it's pretty convenient for Biden administration officials to be able to go, Trump bad, Pompeo bad, Trump CIA bad, Biden CIA good. That's pretty much my interpretation of it. Certainly Julian's life was at risk long before Trump or Pompeo were around. That said, what Trump and Pompeo did to Julian was absolutely disgusting and immoral and probably illegal. Though I'm not a legal expert, but I would imagine that plotting to assassinate a journalist in a Western country is probably not above board at all.
Feels like it doesn't jibe with freedom of press and freedom of speech. I don't know. I'm not.
I'll tell you what, it jibes with the friggin' Trump's first trip to stroke the orb in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's very Jamal Khashoggi of him, isn't it?
Yeah.
So just goes to show that Pompeo and Trump's ethical standard was about the same as Saudi Arabia.
Well, I mean, yeah, you bring up great points too. And this is sort of ridiculous, always blaming the other party or the last administration. Like, oh, Pompeo and Trump tried to have Assange killed. Gee, who went after him and put him in jail? Oh, or Barack Obama. That's right. That's,
His vice president was who? Oh, that was Biden. And what was Biden on mainstream media saying? Assange is a high-tech terrorist. Biden was framing Julian as a terrorist when Julian was a journalist and a publisher years before Pompeo and Trump showed up. So I don't give Trump and Pompeo a pass, because I think what they did is absolutely disgusting. And I think they should be raked over the coals for it. But it's definitely a bipartisan political persecution that has spanned multiple administrations. And Biden's administration can't gain any moral high ground until they drop the charges and let Julian go home to his family.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it is such a great point. It's the thing that is so maddening and the media goes right. The media is part of this, charade. Yeah. Like you say, we should be highly critical of Pompeo. who flat out said he lied. We should be, and Trump, we should be highly critical of, you know, Gina Haspel, that was the first female head of the CIA who was in favor of torture. But so is everybody. But then we can't, it's always this, everything in our media and in our ridiculous, you know, two-party system, which is designed to keep Americans divided, distracted, and afraid, is like, you know, when a Democrat does something awful, you know, Fox comes down hard on them, but turns a blind eye to what the awful Republicans did. And when a Republican does something awful, you know, CNN and MSNBC come down hard on the Republican, but then turn a blind eye to all the Democrats that did the same awful shit. It's just like, and it shows you the thing that Assange has been very, you know, and WikiLeaks were on the forefront of showing that this two-party thing is just, it's just theatrics. It's professional wrestling, you know, and what was really, who's really in charge. I mean, Assange said it about Afghanistan. This isn't about freedom or getting the Taliban or protecting women. It's about just keeping the never-ending war machine going. And Afghanistan and Assange are basically very similar in the sense that you had 4 presidents from 2 political parties spend trillions of dollars to keep this war in Afghanistan going. Like you said, like we've had presidents from both political parties target, try to kill, try to silence, smear, jail Julian Assange. And we're supposed to think that one party's better than the other with regards to this. It's a joke. I mean, it's literally like swapping out drug cartels and saying, well, this drug cartel only sold to some children and this cartel, you know, like, it's just like, it is just a political football that is just
they're like competing mafia families. I've said that all along. That was exactly what I said about the 2016 election. I keep getting asked, you know, which side is better or like a lesser of two evils, and I said, like, as far as I'm concerned, this is the Trump mafia family against the Clinton mafia family. Which mafia family would you like to pick? And that's that obvious to me. And I go, and this is not unique to America either. This is true of every government in the world, even the ones where you're taught, oh, this is a great leader and a revolutionary leader and a blah, 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 blah. These governments operate like mafias. They all do. You challenge a government in any country, you're going to end up on the shit list very fast. Maybe Iceland is maybe Iceland is different. I don't know. It's a tiny miniature population. It's in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, they did jail some bankers. But 99% of countries, if you challenge power, if you challenge the powerful, you are going to be persecuted, whether or not CNN will admit that it's happening.
Yeah, it's absolutely correct. And the U.S. State Department gives these veiled threats or sometimes just outright threats to countries that don't play ball. I mean, you know, if you're a country that goes, you know, gets off the petrodollar, you forget it. You are getting one between the eyes. And they, you know, they use the media, just the way the mob just goes like, oh, be real shame. Yeah. Like you might fall down a flight of stairs. You know,
you interfere with the mafia's income. What happens? Right.
Oh, you get taken out.
Exactly. You interfere with the warmonger's income. What happens?
You get taken out.
And as you said, Julian hit the nail on the head. Afghanistan was about kaching. It was kaching to the tune of literally trillions of dollars. And they are going to hold tight to their ability to generate that kaching for as long as they possibly can, and to hell with anyone who gets in the way. And Julian absolutely got in the way. Julian changed the outcome of situations that massive amounts of money and political engineering had been poured into creating. WikiLeaks had a material impact on the ending of the Iraq War. That is freaking enormous. When was the last time a media organization had a material impact on ending a war?
Yeah,
didn't happen.
I know it's impressive to see all of the stuff that has happened. But I guess since this obviously is just a political football to say, oh, you know, and always with that, it's always like anytime something comes out about the CIA, it's always talked about like it was in the past, like, that was when that was bad back then. But now, like you say, like the Biden CIA is good. It's got rainbow flags and inclusion, and it's great the way it stages coups and is completely has no civilian oversight at all, which our government was supposedly set up to have a government buy-in for the people. So if the government got out of control, the people could go, wait a minute, but we don't have that. We have a kleptocracy run by oligarchs. So since this clearly is just another, Trump bad, Biden good maneuver, how do you see this playing out with Julian Assange?
In terms of his court hearings next week?
Yeah.
On, I think it's the 28th and 29th of next week in London. I feel like they're hedging their bets. So if this goes against them, they can be like, oh, well, we'll investigate the bad people at CIA under Trump who have created the situation. And if it goes for them, I think they'll just let it all die down and actually extradite Julian. It's not what I want to believe, but it is what I believe, that they are absolutely committed to trying to get him onto American soil. I truly believe that. I believe that the unelected leadership, who Snowden and many others have pointed out don't have 4-year or 8-year terms, but have 40 or 50-year terms at the intelligence agencies, have been gunning for Julian since at least 2009, arguably a little bit earlier than that. Certainly all of the Obama presidency was them going after Julian as hard as they could, and in multiple jurisdictions and multiple agencies. They had FBI on him, CIA on him, DOD on him. They had international agencies on him. They've got international governments on him. I mean, simultaneously at one point, Julian was being persecuted by the US, persecuted by the UK, persecuted by Sweden, persecuted by Ecuador, and left to hang out to dry by Australia. 5 freaking countries actively involved in trying to destroy him, his organization, and his life. That's why this situation persists. That's why you see administration after administration after administration continuing to hound him to his death. And it's absolutely disgusting. And it's a direct attack on the public's right to know. It's a direct attack on the public supposedly having the right to know what their governments are up to, and having the right to know what these intelligence agencies are up to. And it's the persecution of Assange is indicative of, and whatever they are able to get away with is indicative of the wider global situation in the relationship between citizens and governments. And that's why we have to win the fight. That's why we have to push back hard enough to win this fight, because look at the world since Julian was arrested and silenced. Look at the world we had when Julian was free to publish. Look how governments feared him. Look how governments were consumed by what he's going to do next, by what WikiLeaks is going to do next. Their focus, they were put in a defensive position because they never knew which of their dirty secrets was coming out next. Since Julian's been put away, these people have been running rampant. They've been having a field day. And the situation in terms of civil and human rights for as whole societies has degraded dramatically, and will continue to do so. So the fight to support Julian and to free Julian is really a fight to secure a future for all of us.
Great. That's very true. Very true. So it's
and he's an amazing guy, and he's a cool friend. And he did a massive amount to support particularly independent media, young journalists coming up. And I'm telling you that because most people don't ever get to hear that. And I know it's true from my own personal experience. So I'd just like to add that too, because a lot of time and effort and MSM narratives and money went into churning out smears about Julian for 10 straight years so that people wouldn't know who he really is and they wouldn't understand his real character. But I know his real character. He is a good, fundamentally good, giving, self-sacrificing person. And we should respect him for that.
Well, thank you so much, Suzie, for sharing that with us. I know it's probably getting late where you're at, or early. I don't know. But any final thoughts?
Yeah, I've got one thing.
Okay.
I'm actually going to read you a couple of sentences here that I have about it, but I can't give away too much. If you closely watch my Twitter timeline over the last month or so, I have hinted, I think on 2 occasions, that we have got a massive, extremely significant, groundbreaking and memorable investigative series coming out on Talk Liberation. It's being co-written by myself and my colleague Sean O'Brien. I can't tell you very much about it. I can tell you that it directly relates to WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, that it is based on primary source documents on which nobody else in the world has reported, and that it reveals things that have been long suspected, but for which there was no hard evidence until now. And that it will be hugely consequential and significant, particularly to everybody who supports Julian and WikiLeaks. You should know that it's coming. More information will be released soon. If you want to know when it comes out, you need to go to talkliberation.com to us, which will redirect you to our Substack, and sign up. You can sign up for free. You don't have to pay us money if you don't want to support, or if you can't support, that's fine. But just do the free subscription, stick your email address in, and you'll get emailed when that is released. Keep an eye on my Twitter. We will be announcing the campaign and hashtag around the releasing of these investigative pieces. The little piece I was going to read you is that from ex-CIA Director Mike Pompeo overtly threatening WikiLeaks in an official CIA capacity in 2017 to the UC Global scandal unveiling extensive physical surveillance at the Ecuadorian embassy, the US government versus Julian Assange saga continues. Talk Liberation, our publication, have obtained unique data sets that will further advance public understanding and insight into the activities of those seeking the destruction of Assange and WikiLeaks. And once again, we don't have a PR team, we don't have an advertising agency. This is all word of mouth. So if that is something you want to know about, and if that's something of significance to you, spread the word. Go tell everybody that this is coming. And I'm making you thirsty. That's funny. An enormous amount of work and sacrifice has gone into producing this series because it's historically important and it's significant to all of us. So all we're asking is that you sign up and read it. That's it. And that you tell people that it's coming. I deeply appreciate that. And thank you. Yes, that is it. talkliberation.substack.com.
I'll put that on the screen right now. talkliberation.substack.com. Yeah, sign up, folks.
And that'll give me another excuse to come back on Graham's show.
Yes, any excuse to come on my show. You're always welcome on the show, Suzie. It's always great to see you. And tell everybody working over at Panquake that very much appreciate the work that they're doing, and also taking the time to tell us how valuable Annalise Garcia was. So and to help and give and just set up the GoFundMe to help her family. It's all very much appreciated by everybody. So thank you for your support, and thank you. I know you were absolutely gutted as well to hear about Annalise, and I know she loved you so much and you brought a lot of joy to her. So I will try not to cry, but thank you, Graham. I'm really grateful to have had those shared experiences with you and her. Yeah, she was wonderful. And thank you everyone who's watching and paying attention and giving of yourselves too. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, Suzie, say hi to everyone back there, and we'll talk soon. Okay. Night. Right. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. We are still in our 9th month of demonetization from YouTube. So support what we're doing at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. It's free to sign up, and there's a premium level at $10 a month. And for that, you get everybody on the platform's premium content. Myself, Lee Camp, Ron Placone, Jimmy Dore, Whitney Webb, Kim Iverson, Abby Martin, and many, many others. You can also support what we're doing at Venmo at Graham-Elwood, and go to GrahamElwood.com. We have a PayPal button and a PO box. I also have crypto wallets, which are all in the show notes. Thanks for supporting what we do.